Hi, welcome to Contemporary Art Issue. Today we'll be talking about a chopped up shark, a pig who has been split open in half, a decapitated cow, and a calf with 6 limbs. Welcome to the exhibition review of Damien Hirst's Natural History at Gagosian Gallery. For the first time in history, an overview exhibition has been dedicated to Damien Hirst's Formaldehyde sculptures. Since March 9 of 2022, more than 20 iconic artworks are on display at Gagosian's Brittania Street Gallery in London. Damien Hirst rose to fame in the late 1980s with often shocking artworks, pushing the boundaries of not only good taste and what is morally acceptable, but also of what contemporary art is or could be. In 1991, the young British artist shocked the world with arguably his most iconic sculpture he ever made, titled "The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living." A 14-foot tiger shark, ready to strike you down with a single snap of his jaws. However, the shark wasn't made from marble, wood, or wax. It is as real as it is dead, preserved in a tank filled with formaldehyde, a chemical compound from hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon, best known for its preservative and antibacterial properties. The shark sculpture would be the first of an ongoing natural history series, driven by Hirst's 4 favorite themes: life, death, science, religion. Today, 3 decades later, and with a different zeitgeist and frame of reference, we return to Hirst's notorious formaldehyde sculptures, after a series of less adventurous dots and cherry blossom paintings. In 2022, it is an understatement to say Hirst's dead animals might spark some controversy and consternation in the public opinion. Animal rights have never before been as prominent as today. But even though Hirst is not the only one using dead animals in his profession, he shows the coldness and brutality of death with unseen honesty. His formaldehyde sculptures are more than just a gimmick of preservation and a quest for sensation in art. At the same time as we are shocked and incensed by those sculptures, we are also intrigued. Life versus death is and always will be one of the great dichotomies, and we're confronted with it much closer than we're used to. We lure at those dead carcasses, feeling sorry for the passing of their soul, but simultaneously we are investigating the earthly remains, bones, flesh, and even bowels with our very own eyes. Whereas many might wonder, is this art? The more importunate question coming to the mind of any beholder would be, is this life? Or rather, is this death? Even though their bodies are isolated and preserved, we are confronted with the inevitability of death and decay. A second major dichotomy in natural history is without any doubt science versus religion. Traditionally speaking, both terms are viewed as opposites. Religion ends where science starts. However, with her sculptures, both terms seem to merge into a new synthesis effectuated by art and art history. In fact, why be surprised? Art has always had a very strong connection with both science and religion, a junction Damien Hirst eagerly tackles in an often subtle or rather direct manner. Besides art historic references to, for instance, the 2 carcasses in the backdrop of Francis Bacon's Figure with Meat from 1954, or the similarities concerning the aesthetics and structures of the skeleton of the tanks reminiscent to minimal art, think for instance Soloist structures, Damien Hirst implements also a religious iconography in order to emphasize the juxtaposition of science versus religion. Cain and Abel from 1994 show us 2 calves next to each other, isolated in separate tanks. The title refers to the story of the 2 brothers, Cain and Abel, from the book of Genesis, in which the first would kill the latter. A tale about death, jealousy, and divinity, as we approach those 2 poor calves as brothers. Or what about The Ascension from 2003? Hirst presents a calf with 6 limbs vertically in the tank, as if it's been swirled up to heaven. Here, the British artist tackles the absurdity of the afterlife, using the pictorial tradition of the Assumptio as a visual apologia. Arguably, one of the more shocking sculptures, besides the flayed and crucified cows, must be the beheading of John the Baptist from 2006. A brutal scene and the favourite subject of many masters throughout art history. Think of Caravaggio's eponymous masterpiece at the start of the 17th century. A decapitated cow is found on a white tiled floor. Its head is lying on the butcher's table, accompanied with colourful knives. Above, there is a clock sitting still at 11:53, as Hirst reflects on the halt of time due to death and its finiteness. If having an emotional reaction in front of an artwork is one of the key indicators of the artwork to be successful, then it's safe to say Damien Hirst's sculptures succeed in inciting our emotions and senses. The inconvenient truth is, however, that we're not only shocked by those mortal remains and the raw depiction of death. We are shocked with how we continue to be utterly fascinated by death. No matter how civilized, no matter how morally developed we are, the inherently human desire and fascination for life's great dichotomies is as inevitable as death itself, as is the lasting impact of Damien Hirst Formaldehyde sculptures. Thank you so much for watching today. Feel free to watch our video on the top 10 Ukrainian artists today next. And please consider subscribing to stay posted for more contemporary art. See you soon! See you soon too!